Friday, Mr. Trump signed a sweeping order
blocking refugees and foreign nationals, putting his so-called Muslim ban into effect.
It was an attack on our most basic values.
The 5-year-old Iranian boy was held for more than 4 hours.
Chaos, confusion, and anger.
We just had never seen the likes of this.
You are punishing people who have nothing to do with terrorism.
We are people, we are not the government.
A mother and baby finally let go after 12 hours.
The first time it became real was when I clicked open my email on, I think, late on a Friday night and saw this request for lawyers to show up at the airports.
We got there about mid-morning, and already there were many families gathered who had been waiting, some of them overnight, for their loved ones.
If there was a silver lining, it was that the unlawful conduct was playing out in one of the most public forums in the world.
Effectively, our offices were moved to LAX.
One of the first families I met was an Iranian gentleman who was waiting for his brother.
He sold everything, his car and he has a shop. He sold everything, his business. He's coming here, live here with me.
He had learned that his loved one was not going to be released, that in fact he was going to be sent back to Iran that afternoon.
This portion of the order is in our view unquestionably unconstitutional, illegal, and we intend to fight it.
There was a tremendous concern as to whether we could be successful as advocates.
A big sigh of relief and a momentous day for the family of an Iranian man turned away Friday at LAX because of the travel ban.
He was sent back to Tehran, and today he returns to LA and is reunited with his family.
I want to say thanks to Judge D for standing up to the unjust order, and not just standing up to it, writing her own order and demanding that my uncle come back. Like, it's astonishing.
There is no way that people can defend their rights without proper access to counsel. This case is a great example of that, and there will be more and more in the days to come.
A family of 5 from Afghanistan was detained at LAX.
That family now in federal custody.
We're told the father worked for the U.S. government, likely as an interpreter or translator, and returning to Afghanistan would put him at risk.
We know that they were vetted at least on 3 separate occasions. Nothing happened on the flight over to Los Angeles that changed those circumstances.
He and his family were being held incommunicado.
We need to file a habeas petition on their behalf in order to see justice done. We were very fortunate in having the support of Gibson Dunn, who jumped into the case immediately with us. By then it was already Friday evening.
We stayed up all night.
The future of this family of 5 from Afghanistan now rests in the hands of the federal courts.
We learned the mother and the 3 young children were being held in downtown Los Angeles, pending transfer to a family detention center in Texas.
Saturday, as the family was about to be sent to various detention centers halfway across the country, a federal judge issued a last-minute restraining order.
And then we had a Hitchcockian adventure.
Attorneys from our partners at Gibson Dunn rushed to the airport to make sure that the family would not be separated.
The family's still intact sort of in this area, but a special meeting coming up first thing in the morning tomorrow to decide what happens next.
An Afghan family of 5 who traveled to the United States on special visas has been released from federal custody.
So I have just learned that they have been released.
You know, you live for those moments.
They are now, without restriction, free to travel.
That defines who we are as individuals, who we are as a community, and for Public Counsel, what we are as an organization.
There has been a sea change in the conduct of ICE officers.
The fear in the immigrant communities now is palpable.
Daniel Ramirez may be the first dreamer arrested by ICE.
I think the first response was, this cannot be happening.
We have filed a lawsuit saying that this is unconstitutional, and we're going to, if the government doesn't acknowledge that a mistake was made in this case, we'll take this and we'll fight this as long and as hard as necessary.
This is a young man who belongs here with his U.S. citizen child. He's entitled to benefit from the promises the United States government made to him.
We're hoping that we can get the courts to establish standards to protect everybody from being snatched from their homes when they've done nothing wrong.
I'm proud of what Public Counsel did. I'm proud of what Gibson Dunn and Crutcher did. But it was Daniel who stood up to the government and refuted the statements that he had any gang affiliation, and an immigration judge said there's no basis to keep him here. Seeing Daniel walk out of that facility, that was just an extraordinary moment. And his smile, there's just not words for that. That's really why we're on the planet, isn't it?
This is going to be an ongoing battle, and we can't do it alone.
The key is to keep this momentum going, is to keep building the immigrant rights movement.
And what I think makes this organization so extraordinary is that the Trump administration is not going to define our agenda. We're going to define the agenda as to what the communities that we're privileged to serve need in order to be able to live their dreams.
You know, it's not always that people are sort of applauding lawyers. Usually you're sort of the butt of a joke, but that has certainly changed in the early parts of 2017.